Hello and welcome to today's Techie Tea Party. Today is day 2 of slides, and we'll be looking at how do we share these slides, how do we allow other people to access them, and what does it look like, and how do we best support collaboration on slides. So this is a slide that I created yesterday. It's not by no means a good example of what a slide should look like, but we'll be using that for today. So, first of all, to share this, we can share within our slides by coming up to the top right hand and clicking share. We can then choose who we want to share it with. Depending on your directory, you might be able just to type a person's name and it might pop up. We can then click send and it sends for them to contribute to it. So that's a nice quick way to do it. When we come up to share at the top as well, we can type in a name, we can click this little pencil, we can change what way they can see it, whether they can edit, whether they can comment, whether they can view. Again, like the last time, we can click on advanced. We've got big options down the bottom here. We've got the option to prevent editors from changing access and add new people. So if you just wanted one person to be able to see it and edit it, that's an option. Depending on the content, if it's very private and it's not appropriate for lots of people to see, you might want to choose that as well. You've also got the other option of disable option to download, print, and copy. So then that would mean that there's no chance of it getting shared further in any other ways. So those are both ways that can support that. You'll notice at the top there, it's also given us a link. So that means that we can easily post that to our social media or on our website or in any other communication so people can see this. And again, where it says here, it says specific people can access. If we change that and say on and say public on the web and anyone can see it, that now means that anyone who clicks on this will be able to actually see it. So that means that it's really useful if this was maybe some information for parents that you're wanting to put in a newsletter you're going out. That's how I'd recommend doing that. I'll click done for the moment. Other way of sharing this slide, we can come to file at the top left. We can then go to email as an attachment. And again, where it says attach as, we can choose to do it as a PDF, a Microsoft PowerPoint, or plain text, which isn't what I would normally pick. I would be more prone probably in this situation if I needed to do this attachment, as in I was emailing someone who's maybe not on the Google platform, who doesn't have access to the Google platform. I'd either be choosing PDF or PowerPoint, possibly more likely to do PowerPoint. Type in the email, type in a message. You can choose to send a copy to yourself and then click send. So then that way they'll get it and they'll be able to easily access it. In particular, PDFs are really easy to access and you don't need to be as worried about how they'll access it, as in can easily look at it on a phone or a tablet device as well. The other option, of course, as always, would be to file, to download it, save it in whichever way you want to save it as. You can even save it as images there, and then you can store it wherever you need to store it or pass it on to people. For me, thinking about this as a piece of work with students, what I'd be tempted to do is to go to my Google Classroom. So I can come into my apps, scrolling down until I find Classroom. Option 1, if I'm sure that I've shared it so that everyone has access to it, would be posting as a stream, as in, hello all, here is the PowerPoint. So that might be, not PowerPoint, sorry about that, little slip, presentation. And then I'd be able to click add, go to my Google Drive, and then it'll go with recent, and it should be there if I go to video presentation. So that's then ready for everyone to see if I've got it so everyone can see it. I can then click post and it'll be posted. And if this is a PowerPoint that I've got on my computer, and I did mean PowerPoint that time, I can upload a PowerPoint here for people to access as well. Click post, and that's it shared there on the stream. A way that's probably more useful though is if I click classwork, click create as an assignment, and say today's presentation to collaborate on. Instructions, that'll be where you post what you want them to do. We click add and we can choose our Google Drive and then choose our slides. So we choose video presentation, and again it comes up with these options. A student can view the file, so that means they'll be able to look at it. So if this is purely content, reading materials, links to take them to other places, that would be most useful. Students can edit the file. So that's when you want a large group of students all collaborate on this. So maybe you're looking at the human body, doing a bit of biology, and they're all looking at the different systems within the body. You could have them set in groups, and then they're going to come on and they're going to edit those specific slides, all working together to add their facts, to add links, to add content. The other option at the bottom is to make a copy for each student. So what that would then mean is that each one gets a specific presentation sent to them. They're able to adapt it, able to change it, and then able to share it back with you. So then there's no overlapping of collaboration there. At the end of that, you could ask them to share it so then they can get comments, but it would be a different type of working. So for the moment, for this, I would choose students can edit the file. The other option is to create it right here in the assignment, and that's what I'm going to show you just now. So I'm going to create a slide, and the view is that for this slide is that we want everyone to be edited. So you'll see it's popped up into a new tab there, and seeing I've just used that as an example, let's make this into our P5 human body. So when we click share, the share will already be there with the class, but I might also want someone else to access it. So for this example, I'll add my EduBuzz account, and it was shared that so people can edit it. How I would have this structured for it to work best is I would probably have it set so that we had a title page, so P5 human body, and I would probably have made the main slides that introduced each section. So using sections and emphasizing to students that they add slides underneath those sections. So for instance, this might be the nervous system, you might have the skeletal system, all these different systems, and then when they're coming on, they're coming up to add, and they're adding their text underneath this. So that's the first example I would give on how to structure this in a really useful way. The other tip I'd maybe give is actually to put names or initials or number to indicate who's working on which slide. And that just helps to keep everything very structured so that when people come on, they know that's my space. So we've got the nervous system here. I'm just going to quickly go onto my other account on another device just to show you what then that looks like when someone is adding to this. If you give me just 1 second. Okay, so my other account has now joined, and you can see there that I'm popping up as being on this slide. If I start typing on this one, you'll see it's popped up saying who it is that's on there. It would also normally tell me that person's on with a little image of wherever their icon usually is. And if they're then starting to insert things, we'll be able to see that as well. So you can imagine that if you had lots of people all competing to add to the same slide, this is quite chaotic. So I think any systems you can put in place to make sure that slides are well organized, that there's that structure there, I would recommend. That might even be within a classroom stream, students discussing and agreeing who's going to do which element before they start, or even taking one slide at the start of their section to decide who is doing what, because that is of real use. Again, like we did in docs, a good way of then having conversation around the content is making use of comments. So to do that, all I do is click where I want to put my comment, and come up to here where I'll say add comment. I can also do it by pressing Ctrl Alt and M. I click there, and I can say a good start to this section. And I can click comment. On my other account, that then pops up instantly, and I can reply to that. And what you should see is that then has been replied. I've now realised that it's because I'm using my own account twice that that's coming up as me rather than as my different account. You'll then see that I also have the option to click down here and I can edit that now because that is me. So maybe if I made a mistake or typo, I can change that. We can link to this comment. I can put a link somewhere in the document so someone can come straight in here. I can also click resolved. So if that was a mistake and I've given that feedback and the students then changed it and improved it, I can now tick it's resolved. Then at the end, if I want to see what those all look like, I come up to the top left to comment history, and you'll then show me that, and I'll be able to scroll down and see the different comments. You'll see it says notifications here. I can click that and choose to see all notifications. So any comments that get posted, I get notified, or I can see that it's only ones that involve me. When we are typing, we can at people. So if there's specific feedback for specific students, so if I'm saying, Stuart, remember you told me all about this, it'd be really great to include this within the slide. That's a really useful thing to do as well. So now when I go back to my assignment where I started, you can see it's there. I didn't give it a title. Did I give it a title? I did give it a title. So that's needing to just update slightly. I'm going to change it now to be students can edit it because we've got our sections all organized. And then I just click assign. And then that'll be there ready for them all to contribute to. So a nice quick way for them all to access it. Could do the same in Drives. Could have created a folder, created my document, made sure everyone can access it, and people could come on and start working as well. There's lots of different ways. So it's about what works best for you, for the people you're working with, and for your students. If you have any questions,